Hey, thank you for clicking on the video. As you can see, we're jumping back into the Moesha universe today. As per usual, if you don't like spoilers and you've never seen the show before, you should jump off of here, go watch it, and then come back. If you don't care, then we move on. So, today, we will be talking about Q. So, if it hasn't been obvious, I don't like Q. I never liked Q. He was very annoying. And this is the thing. It's not the actor. The actor did a good job. It's the character. Like he was just not a good fit for Moesha. Like even the way that they were introduced to one another, it started out toxic. So the very first time we see Q, there's like this list going around of the girls that the boys made. Now he new in town, so Hakeem just lied and said that Q made the list. Q ain't had nothing to do with the list, but Moesha and her friends felt the need to go and confront him about this list. Why they assumed that Hakeem was telling the truth is beyond me. I know that's their friend, so they would assume he was telling the truth, but apparently this list has been going out for years, and this was Q's first year here, so I don't know why y'all would assume that he was actually involved, but okay, I digress. The interaction between him and Moesha is, a little heated. She's mad because she why are you judging us? You don't know us type situation. He why? What is you talking about? I don't know what you mean. I didn't write this. Get out my face. So it's like that, rivalry almost. And to get even, the girls, Moesha, Nisi, and Kim, they all create their own list about the boys. And that leads Q to asking what her problem is. And, from there, they develop a relationship. Now, he demands Moesha to be where he wants her to be, and it's been that way since the very beginning. He literally was like, well, if you want to know something, you gonna be at the Bombay tonight. And then she's like, what? He was like, I ain't gonna ask again. This was like, you didn't ask at all. And he didn't. And he didn't. He proceeded to not ever ask that girl a damn thing in that relationship. Before their little breakups, before their major breakup, because they had some on and off time because Q just, we'll get to it, but before their major breakup where there was actually a split, and even after that breakup when they came back together, it was never a equal give and take. It was always Q telling Moesha what to do, and Moesha doing it for some dumbass reason. Because Moesha has her own mind, and she's very headstrong, so the way that she was letting Q walk all over her was really so frustrating to me and just beyond me, because I'm like, girl, what is you doing? He is literally not worth it, okay? Now, apparently, Moesha was Q's first real girlfriend. So that apparently gave him the right to just treat her like trash, basically. She would try to be all cutesy and call him QQ. And he felt the need to always correct her and say, no, don't call me that. He was a bad influence on her as well. Moesha was not sneaking out before she met him. He would convince her to sneak out. And this is the thing. I will always disagree with the reason why Frank disliked Q. He disliked Q for reasons that literally didn't matter. The reasons he could have disliked Q and not wanted Moesha to be with him, he didn't give a fuck about. He didn't pay any mind to it. He had a problem with the way the dude dressed and the way he talked. That is so superficial. And so, no, I will never agree with Frank on that. But I do agree with the fact that Q and Moesha should not have been together because he was a terrible influence. Now, I did mention this episode when I was talking about Dee and Frank, and I was talking specifically about the parental side of it. But the episode where Moesha was being hella irresponsible in multiple different areas of just her life was a problem, because her grades was, like I said, her grades slipping, and her returning home past her curfew and sneaking out, that and skipping school, that is on her. That is the problem. And she was doing all of that, and her grades were slipping because of Q influencing her to do all this stuff. She never skipped school before. Moesha is a fucking bookworm. She really cares about how school goes for her and stuff like that. And so she never fucking misses school. All of a sudden, she's with this guy and she's skipping class and stuff like that. It's a problem. Okay. And like I said, he always had an issue with Moesha trying to be cutesy with him. There's an episode where she is on a date with Jeremy and bump into him and his date. And this girl is calling him QQ the entire night. And he ain't got no issues with it. And we see that like multiple times where, he'll have an issue with something Moesha says or does to him, but then turn around and is all up in the next girl's face. Like, he literally breaks up her at one point. And this is the episode where she goes out with Hakeem's cousin that I guess turned out to be gay. It's up to the, like, they never really make it clear if he was actually gay or not. But, in that episode, like, Q wanted to go on a break for literally no reason. Like, they didn't have no beef. She didn't do nothing to him. He just wanted to see other women. Well, other girls, because they're in high school. And so he said, hey, I want to take a break. Piece of shit. Okay. Like, then... This is another issue I have. I feel like he was the perfect example of a man who is jealous of the woman that he's with. Because again, they're in high school. Because Moesha is a very ambitious individual, and she loves Q. So she tries to, really be as helpful as she can. Now, she feels a little left out when they create CPQ, but she uses the skills that she does have to, try to be a part of the group as well, which is, she promotes herself to manager, but she was actually getting shit done for their group, though. Like, she got them on the radio. She also had them perform with that one guy whose song they sampled. I honestly don't remember what his name is, because I don't know the dude, like I said, and I don't listen to his music. So, but yeah, they sampled his song, and she goes to talk to him, and at first it seemed like she made things worse, but in reality, she convinced him to really sing with them, kind of, because he was not going to show up to that show if she hadn't talked to him. And with him showing up made Q feel the need to say what he said, and he was like, all right, I'm just performing with them, and he ended up being really nice. Another thing as well, like, she had more pull than Q. Like, people would want to do work with her faster than they would with Q, because he's not very presentable. He looks like a thug. I'm not saying that means you should judge him, but I'm saying he doesn't look like somebody you take serious, because he looks just like a teen who don't know what he doing, right? Moesha is more prepared, and she looks more put together, more business-like. So, in the episode after he had broke up with her and was fucking around with other girls, mind you, she had called in a radio show and ended up winning some tickets and backstage passes to a concert. She invites him because all of a sudden he cool. All of a sudden this his girl, and they all tight and everything, right? And her two best friends don't end up getting in because he took it upon himself to invite 5 other dudes that nobody knew was coming, because this is his group that he producing. Okay, now, and they get backstage, and she promotes them to Russell. Who is it? Russell, dude. You know who I'm talking about. Run's brother. Anyways, is it Russell Wilson? Anyways, she promotes this group to him. She never heard these boys' music. She don't know them from a can of paint. But because her boyfriend is producing them and she believes in her man's dreams, there she go. She promotes him, and he wants to work with the group. as long as he thinks she's the manager. He literally, when he saw Q, he ain't want nothing to do with it. He said, if I ain't dealing with her, I'm not dealing with any of you. And walked off. And, you know, like humbled him real quick, because he really always felt the need to go out of his way to tell Moesha how unneeded she was, but she was always getting you opportunities. And when you couldn't get something done, she best believe she was able to, but you felt the need to always try to tear her down and try to make her seem like she is useless to you. She is making you shine in reality, but whatever, I digress. Now, on to when they were engaged. Oh my gosh, I hated that whole fucking plot line. Like, I'll talk about the whole scenario when I get to Hakeem. But, you know, everything about that scenario and how she ended up back with Q pisses me off. And she sat up here and went on that tour, which, like, girl, even if she had like regretted it, like it became too late once she got on that plane, like, and it took out, like, it became too late for you to be like, maybe I should stay and try to figure out what's really going on. No, it's too late now. Okay. And she sat up there on that tour with him, let him talk all the sweet nothings into her ear, and he was just the same Q, right? Because we turned around and this is the thing. He want the ring back because he used all his money to produce a group. What happened to you doing your music? Like, why you stop trying to produce your damn self? You know what I mean? And she goes to try and find a way around it. Now, was she wrong for, you know, trying to get the money from a dude that openly flirts with her and openly tries to get at her? Hell yeah. Like, that was the wrong thing to do. The issue here is Q didn't even care about that. He's just mad that you just don't want to give up the ring to begin with. You know, in that scenario, I do feel like Moesha definitely was like not actually wanting to marry Q already, you know, and she was already migrating towards getting back to Hakeem for real. But it's the simple fact that he was so hell-bent on getting that ring back. Like, if you have a solution, what's the issue? You know, and it comes down to ego. And again, I feel like his ego, like, is what was causing such friction. It goes into, I feel like he had an issue with Moesha having that shine to her, with Moesha being as independent. He felt the need to constantly try to make her do what he wanted her to do. And that's just not how, like, a healthy relationship goes. I think that is where I'm gonna call it for her now. If I have more to say, which I probably do, then I'll probably just make another video on Q. But, you know, for now, that's all I have to say on top of my head. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. I appreciate it. Why don't you tell me if you did or did not like Q? And if you did, why don't you tell me what was one of his favorite musical moments that he had for you? Okay. With that being said, until next time, bye.